Hello and welcome to the latest chapter of the 2019 Summer Cup. My name is Warning Track. I'm joined by Opie Wrights, and casting Cyborg Dells is running the show per usual. I think he's pretty much just hooked up to the computer at this point. The Summer Cup started with a record 64 players this year in its seventh year, but we're down to just 16. A victory today will propel any of these competitors into the semifinals and into the money. The Summer Cup does have a community-donated prize pool, and while there's lots of great prizes for many of the competitors for various things, which you will be able to see on screen in just a moment, the top four spots are the ones guaranteed a cash prize. There's both pride and payment on the line in both of these matches. Opie Wrights, I assume you're as excited as I am. We're going to start off with two different matches here. It's going to be Pofke versus Turnipboy first, and it's going to be Kaylee versus Dowsy second. Let's start off with Pofke. Pofke went 2-0-1 in the group stages. Then went 6-1 against Falcon Hit, oh boy, and 6-4 against the upcoming Coddy to get this far. Turnipboy, on the other hand, a little easier go of it maybe. 3-0 in the group stages, 6-3 against Max Edward Snacks, and 6-2 against longtime player Virafo. What do you expect out of these two players here in this match?
I just expect both of these players are well known for a lot of consistency, and competitively, consistency is a very, very strong trait to have. You don't want to be all that swingy. If you're swingy, you might have an off day and just suddenly get knocked out of the tournament. But both of these players, in their SCL seasons in the Summer Cup, have just shown a lot of just steady pace.
Yeah, I think that's a really good observation. I think the number one thing we see is that a lot of intermediate players can hang with the absolute best of the best. It's that baseline level of consistency that separates the good from the elite. And both of these players, as you mentioned, unusually consistent. Pofke, certainly. Turnipboy, for anyone who follows these competitive events, some of the smaller ones that take place over weekends, near the finals in almost all of them, but only one of them can move on today. We are going to have to talk a little bit about the match format because it has changed. It is longer, it is swingier, it is crazier, it is more exciting, it is occlusionier, if that's a word. We're going to start off with Aquarium, the big honkin' shark, 4 of 8. Then we're going to move on to Pub, 3 of 5. Tayen, 4 of 8, so a lot of the crazies front loaded. Then Library, 5 of 8. Modern, 5 of 8. That will be a very long portion of the cast, probably. Books galore. And then Courtyard 4-7, a little more straightforward. If there is still a tie after those 12 games, we're going to go into extra time. And the extra time maps are Gallery, Verandah, and Ballroom. And if somehow we are still tied after all that, well, of course, it's the Summer Cup, which means the tiebreaker, as it often is Balcony 2 of 3. For your sake and mine, and for that of any cardiac experts in the region, let's hope it doesn't get that far. Are you gentlemen ready to get into this?
Oh, you bet.
All
I am
right.
very excited.
We're going to start off Turnipboy as Spy against Pofke, playing as Green Dress on Aquarium. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Turnipboy's going to take control immediately, do a little bit of hard redirect and a bump into Rocker. And I think we're going to go get that early flirt, and it will be behind the shark. Not that you need to flirt behind the shark much. And that is going to be a green test for 51% right off the bat.
Yeah, green test really, really important, especially on some of these bigger venues where you have to walk around a lot. That extra boost in pacing can be absolutely huge. Ooh,
That is going to be a stationary bug as the Amba passes by us while the shark goes by. You might get credited with it anyway, and yup, look at that. Pofke highlighting people who could have taken the opportunity to bug, but here's the thing. It really is just a could have bugged bug because the spy didn't really show a lot of agency in making that bug happen. They were in the right place at the right time, but the Amba took exactly the path we needed. Problem is, again, you don't get away with those bugs. You still get possibly credited with them.
yeah, and that really is the big issue. You haven't gotten away, you've been credited, and that means that any missions you do from here on out are going to be with the caveat in the sniper's mind that, hey, they probably, if they're the spy, they have a bug right now. So it makes anything you do from here on out just that much more suspicious and that much more enticing to shoot
Banana
for.
bread.
Here comes the banana bread. It's a white test. I see only 3 possible lowlights. Seek, Smallman. Nope. Walt as well and General. I think they got them all. No, 3 of 4 for Pofke. Pretty good. And by the way, Duke gets a highlight for also having a possible bug. So what you really need right now is for the Amba to be behind that shark again and again so that you're one of 5 or 6 possible bug highlights. I just don't think you can be that confident, though, because, again, it's not someone who entered behind the shark. or followed the Amba there. It's someone who was just in the general vicinity and let the Amba come to them. So insofar as Pofke has more or less suspicion based on it, you'd think Turnipboy would be on the low end here. We're done with the Seduce now, by the way. Another green test. We have not even moved, and there are 3 missions done and 2 minutes left. Can Pofke really shoot here for something like a delegated purloin, a direct purloin, or even a couple of inspects?
I think Poppy could definitely shoot for inspects, but Purloin I think is just the most dangerous option right now. You have to be on top of who could be delegated if Turnip Boy does go for that delegation option, just because it is so strong. 3 missions done without really garnering, like you haven't moved. How
You
can you
haven't
have that
moved.
much suspicion? So
Yeah,
it
that's
looks like Turnip
it,
Boy may be going for that delegate option.
Yeah, the shark is not going to be blocking this here. We have middle shark. That means the bar is at least somewhat exposed, except when that fin comes by. Seems more likely to be a delegate than anything else, but let's see. Moment of truth potential here. It is going to be a delegate, and there have not been many bar visitors. As tempting as it is to try to force a quick finish and maybe force the sniper to take a tough shot, I think the party's been docile enough that you actually probably can't do that, and it's better to let more highlights accumulate as possible spies bugging the ambassador. Very few statue visitors as well, by the way. We may have gotten the party coming to us in that center conversation circle, but the party has not done much else. And if Turnip Boy delegates here, there's a really good chance Pofke's going to sneak a win out.
Yeah, that would be really, really big for Pofke. I think you have to try to delegate behind the shark just to get it, just obscure that a little bit more. There it is, the delegate when the shark is passing by. It is not invisible, however. We do see also Queen is going out, has a book, slams it. So that is something that Pofke could have noticed, might be thinking about the
Yep,
delegate here in a moment. But
maybe.
looks like Turnip Boy is going to go to statues, try to distract from this purloin before it happens. Look at this.
Yep, and
Turnip Boy
Pofke was
trying to
zooming
bait
in
out
on
the
Kane with that statue
Wait,
too.
we
So
actually swap.
there it is. They were just going to swap instead. There's the countdown. The guest list is coming in. Why would you swap here if you're delegating? 3, 2, 1. Pofke lining up the shot. No, does not quite take it. Not sure. Just counterintuitive enough. I think they were probably going to get away with that either way, though, because Pofke was zooming in on Kane on the back statue, even though they weren't a suspect. I think those highlights meant very little in the
The
end. I think they,
delegate
yeah.
timed out.
Okay, just in time. Wow, look at this. Yep, look at that. 1.1 seconds after the timer expires. So Turnip Boy with a plan B just in case they didn't time it right with the book slam from Queen. Well played. Well played indeed. Goodness.
Yeah.
1-0. Now it's a spy win. It's on Aquarium. It's not worth that much. Pofke can get it right back. I think a pretty well played game by Pofke. A docile party, though. But the attention they were paying to non-highlights there makes me think that those highlights really didn't mean much because possible bugs are common on Aquarium. Let's see if Pofke rather can get one for himself as Red Dress in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and you're right. It's generally worth a little bit less to have that spy one on Aquarium, but it's still worth more than something like Tayen. Tayen, you almost have you almost want the sniper win more than you want the spy win because it's just it's Tayen. But on Aquarium here, we will see if Pofke can answer back with a spy win. It is easier than some other venues, but it is still not as easy as Tayen or really anything else. So you're still looking for that spy win, but
Pofke chases
very
seduction
well could
target the
be answered
statues,
back.
gets a green test, 51%. We are a highlight for the statues. Turnip Boy is highlighting for statue visits. There were 5, though, in the early going, although one of them became a low light immediately. That was Bling Twin, I believe, possibly just highlight for a rush swap and low lit afterwards, interestingly enough, but it might have been some pathing that I missed. Regardless, we are one of 5 highlights already, so it's not too bad, and we do have 1 inspect and half the flirt done just like that. We're not rushing to finish the flirt
Banana
yet. We're going
bread.
to get the banana bread instead. That's going to knock out 3 at least. Wheels splits. We'll see if he gets a low light or if he's more suspicious as a result. That's an awfully good one, though. However, the fullest conversation of the 3 does not have the SDA in it. So the actual number of potential real banana breaders, if you count the lowlights, there's just 4 or 5 total. That could come back to haunt us.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Pofke. I mean, it's not really unfortunate. The really unfortunate time is when the SDA is actually out of conversation. There's only one real conversation to be had, but still, it's not the RNG, the party RNG you really want to be seeing. And this also is not the party randomness you want to be seeing. The seduction target walking away from us right as we go over to flirt with her.
Yeah, we take our time on the flirt and it ends up burning us. I think a fake here would actually be pretty good. It would broaden the number of possible BBers, but Pofke cannot possibly know that. Pofke is going to enter the conversation a bit of a ways from their seduction target. We're not going to be able to 2-flirt from here, but we still got 2 minutes left, so any flirt will put us in decent range. That's going to put us up to 80%. Anything other than one of the worst flirts will get it done at the end here. We still have an inspect as well, so there are a lot of ways we can finish here, especially if we space those inspects out with an early and a late visit. We are one of a number of highlights still. And the seduction target's going to do a little briefcase cancel. And I think Pofke's going to see where they settle before deciding what to do next. But we are ticking down 100 seconds left, and the seduction target is all the way on the far end of the venue.
Yeah, you mentioned that last party was a docile party. This one is too. We're looking at not much action, not many people going to bar, a few statue visitors, but really other than that, everyone's just been singing conversation. That makes for really difficult opportunities. And unlike last game, we can't just sit in the same conversation and get 3 missions done. That has not been a possibility this game. We do see a highlight going in for a second statue visit, so perhaps that is something that Pofke might want to look for. Maybe try to delegate to Taft while like the shark is passing by, something like that, to see if we can get someone shot. But
Yep.
it's really going to be difficult here.
Well, Green Dress is doing it as well. Two people potentially. If that's not the same statue set, and I don't think it is, that's 2 people who could be done with inspects, and one of them went for a briefcase immediately afterwards. I think Green Dress would be one of our better targets here, but the flirt is already finished. Looks like Pofke is going to go to a statue here.
This could be a swap after Taft, trying to make the decision very, very difficult.
Yep.
For
it's behind the shark too.
Sniper.
Not gonna do it. I don't think so. If you were gonna do it, you would have done it already. It's just gonna be an inspect. There's the green swap. Interesting choice, especially because when the shark comes back, they are gonna be
didn't get the last
on the
inspect.
bottom. We did not get the inspect either. What's the plan here? Go to another statue to divide attention? Or are we gonna try to frame someone? We're gonna go to bar instead. I wonder if Pofke realizes that they didn't get it. It's entirely possible that was a misclick going for the inspect swap instead. That would explain it, but it doesn't matter. Irish is in the back. She'd already finished. She had the fingerprint. She had the 2 inspects, and she was with her back to the sniper in the waning seconds of an Aquarium game. That's reason enough.
Yeah, that was really, really big for Pofke there. I think that, not getting that last inspect really could have burned us there if Turnipboy was able to hold his shot, but unfortunately for Turnipboy, that was not the case. And Irish kind of bailing Pofke out here, but even then, it's kind of balancing out how docile that party was in the end. So nicely played by Pofke, but got a little bit lucky, I think, just in the end there. But still, we're 1-1.
Well, a docile party in general can be bad, but you also have to remember it only takes 1 active AI in that docile party, and that's what we got. Not only did Green Dress go in for a second statue visit there, but she immediately did briefcase afterwards, fingerprint inspect, and you have got a shark in the way. That is a good reason to shoot. As you say, it is 1-1. We're moving on to pub now. Turnipboy as the spy has turned off swap, no surprise there, but has turned off bug as well. Understandable against a good sniper. I'm a big advocate of this play. Let's see if it works. Going to be playing as one of the twins. I believe that's Plain Twin. It sure is.
Plain Twin, yes.
Yep. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Not your cosplay track, sorry.
No, missing a few key elements that I went well out of my way to get.
I would like to talk a little bit about the mission selection here on Pub. It is actually not ubiquitous. With other 3 of 5 venues, it is always just these missions. We always see the same missions just because it has kind of been decided that these are the strongest. But
except for Bug. Bug is off. That is very unusual.
Yeah, but on Pub, we do have a little bit of a debate that kind of reveals itself through the way people pick their missions. Some people like to have Bug off, and the strength of that is there's a lot more opportunity for AIs to complete or to frame AIs. And also Pub is a very hard venue to get away with bugs on. The downside is in fact not in your actual bugging ability, but in the potential to bug. The sniper no longer has to watch for it, is the big issue.
So a good sniper with a good memory. Oh, we have a delegated purloin here, by the way, right away. Oh my goodness. Here we go. We might be rushing here. We have a green flirt and the inspector done early. Yeah, by turning bug off, a good sniper, you have to expect will have perfect information about who could be completing. Fingerprints, certainly, purloin, all that. That's the thing you're trading it for. You can force the frame with a purloin, or you can hope for a passive frame with fingerprints or inspects. They both work in keeping all those options open. But you are basically betting on that because a good sniper will know exactly who could be done. Whereas with Bug, there's always that bit of uncertainty because you can never be positive it hasn't happened. Turnipboy has the delegate in the pocket. A flirt and a delegate will get this done.
I don't
Question
think
is,
we're going to be delegating here. It would be a little bit late at this point in the game. I think we've only got about 10 seconds left on our delegate timer, if my count is correct. Also,
yeah.
our ST is over at statues, so not really in the spot where we can go for that second green flirt. I think we will see the delegate timer expire, and so we're going to go for a more orthodox victory here with a
Yep, it
contact.
has indeed expired. And here's the weird thing. Normally, you notice when your ST is at statues, you'll take it because they become a suspect. Our ST was low lit, though, right until that statue visit. Pofke taking some
Banana
speculative
bread.
behavioral lowlights, but bumping them back up for statues. That's a real BB. That's going to knock out General for real, though. Our ST is really out now, but we do have a fair number of people in conversation here. We have 4 people in with the DA. The SDA was inside the pub, though. The call is coming from inside the house. The other conversation had no SDA in it, and that can swing a pub game very easily.
Yeah, and we're not dead after the contact, which is very, very big. I don't know if Pofke's going to be able to shoot for this next flirt, especially if it's green like that.
There it is. Can you shoot for the 2 flirt here? Have you been tracking it that well? The laser swings over with 4 seconds left, and they do indeed shoot for it. I don't know if they're crediting a 2 flirt or if they're just not confident of how many there are. It's easy to miss one, and one can be the game. But the spy was the only one done with missions, and the spy's the one who gets shot. That is
Yeah,
a big win for Pofke.
I think part of it is just the fact that we did go over to our seduction target. We were compared to someone like Irish, who I think had been to statues and also had contact. She just stood in that conversation, staying in the same spot. We, on the other hand, went over and we talked next to somebody. And even if we're being, and
Banana
if
bread.
we're not being tracked completely perfectly on the flirt, Pofke says, "Look at that. That looks like a spy. I'm going to shoot them." If we are being tracked perfectly on the flirt, then it's a shot for a 2 flirt, which is very, very impressive. But I think that's a bit more behavioral than perhaps an actual count.
Yep, and you can't avoid that kind of behavioralism on pub unless you just want to shoot the first person done, although that's been known to happen too. Anyway, 2 schools of thought about it. We're not going to settle it here and now. Pofke is now going to spy and try to pull away with a lead out of pub. Exact same missions are off, bug and swap. Neither. Both spies respecting the opposite sniper's ability to catch that bug with this high vantage angle. Going to be playing as, hey, it's Green Dress again. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Green Dress has factored heavily into every game so far.
Yeah, yeah.
One way or the other.
Got shot once.
Was the
Then played a
spy once,
spy.
ST, now they're the spy again. Sure. Maybe they're randoming. Who knows? We are starting off doing absolutely nothing. Our seduction target is, let's see, pretty small and all the way across the venue. And Pofke is going to follow them. Let's see if we can squeeze in next to them. We cannot, but it's a small conversation. These conversation circles are small. So when you stand across from your seduction target, it's not like standing across from them on Ballroom or Courtyard or Modern for that matter. So the green here, you can notice, even though we've got someone between us, that's still worth 45%, and that'll do just fine on pub, especially when the seduction target walks away afterwards.
Yeah, one issue that might arise for Pofke here in a little bit is the fact that the suspected double agent has been to statues, and if Pofke is paying attention, as they should be, to who has been to statues and is going to be trying to frame them, that's not really an option with the suspected double agent, unknown to Pofke here.
Yeah, absolutely. That can happen. It's bad luck when it does. I myself, I think against you once, tried to frame an SDA on Tayen, the only one to go to center statues, as I recall, and I thought, what are the odds? Well, I think we know the exact odds. They're not high, but you got to play those percentages sometimes, especially on a 3-5. Our seduction target is going to go to statues. That's happened 2 games in a row now, and 2 games in a row they get the highlight and remain the suspect. Pofke is just chilling here. Less than half the flirt done. That could be significant, too, with just 2 minutes left. What are they going to do next? They are not with the real double agent. The real double agent is all alone, and we have to be hoping they come into one of these conversations, but it's not going to be ours with the SDA right next to us, but Pofke doesn't know that.
Yeah. Some of the power of the seduction target doing things on 3 of 5 venues is just they're not that suspected double agent. You don't have to worry about framing someone who could not be framed. So we're going to walk over, going to be near our seduction target again, but Pofke knows he can't get the 2 green flirt, so it doesn't particularly matter. We're also in a
Banana bread.
contact
Oh,
aboard.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah,
There's
only one low light.
Yep, only one low light, although the conversations are evenly distributed there. So I think only 5 people total, including us, could have a real banana bread. Flirt's up to 74%, and yes, one of the reasons Smallman is a popular seduction target choice, it's not because he's charming or funny or handsome necessarily, it's because it ensures that he will not be cast. Pofke standing here, left at the altar again by the fickle Smallman, who has still not been completely seduced, and is low lit for some interesting little bit of pathing there and or time wasting. That's going to hurt because they are one of just a few, I think, statue visitors. This party is pretty narrowed down relative to our progress. That's going to be a fake just to expand the number of people who could have a real BB, and that is clearly aimed, I think, at framing our seduction target who just received that low light. It's a speculative low light, but Turnipboy does not appear to be reconsidering it.
Yeah, what's interesting is you mentioned that only a few people could have real contact. I'm more interested, generally speaking, in how many have both statues and contact. That count is currently 2, Orange Dress and Smallman.
Yep, and
But
neither has been shot. That is really
yeah,
something.
yeah, that's really impressive here from Turnipboy. A very, very nice hold so far, but we'll see if that hold can continue. We have 95% on the flirt, and that early low flirt percent is going to matter a lot. If we had been right next to Smallman earlier, that would
Yep.
be at 100% right
I
now.
think I think we're trying to frame sorry here. No, we are going to delegate, and we're going to get it in just under the wire while we flirt. We're going to flirt during the pending. That's the only way. The
6
ST leaves.
seconds.
It's not going to work. ST leaves, and there it is. Adding insult to injury, one more rejection from the Smallman. Low lit, walking away. Spy ran out of time. I think that was a fantastic fake from Pofke. They could not have possibly anticipated that behavioral low light. Oof.
Yeah, that was a really impressive hold by Turnipboy. No shot on either statue and contact. Uh, it's so tempting to do that, right? All
Yeah.
they need is flirt, but Turnipboy seemed to have a solid grasp on what the flirts look like for both of those characters, and even went as far as to low light one of them, and managed to hold for a long enough time, and it's just until the end of the game.
Yeah, it's a great hold. It's a really good spy game, in my opinion, and an even better sniper game. And that means we're going to be all knotted up 2-2 heading into Tayen. If you thought things were crazy already, they're about to get just a little bit crazier.
You thought things were crazy already going into Tayen,
Oh,
but
boy.
Turnipboy is just determined to make things even crazier than they already are on Tayen by playing the devil himself, Smallman.
Yep, saying thank you. Thank you for being such a kind seduction target while I was sniper. I will reward you with a spy roll in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Smallman on Tayen. Get your air horns ready.
Immediately highlight. Yep,
Immediately highlight.
that's
Just for
Smallman on Tayen.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And we are actually going to be able to flirt with our seduction target here. That's going to be a green test too, 31%. It's not what you'd like, but we're not center statues. We're going to get a couple inspects in here as well. And the question is, are we going to rush after this? That's normally what you do with the Smallman. Sometimes you frame, but usually you rush with them. Dare them to shoot. It's tough. But yeah, that's not necessarily a statue highlight. That could just be a, hey, you're really hard to see highlight, which is just as good. We're going to go in here probably and get another flirt done in just a minute. The person between us, green dress, hey, it's her again, leaves just between, but we don't need to necessarily finish the flirt too quick. If we hit a green test, we're going to be just fine. Flirt cooldown expires. That is a white. We're at 60%. That's not a good point to be in, but we've got time.
Yeah, 60% is really not the percentage you want. But with 2.5 minutes left, I think we're fine for sure.
And we're doing just fine, but it will kill a lot of rush possibilities, at least. That's significant. The Amba puts the blue book back, and if they walk around behind us, this could be a bug opportunity. No, they're going to go around the other side of the conversation, conspicuously avoiding the Smallman. Why not? He gets shot too much. It's dangerous to be standing near him. We're going to go to bookshelves pretty much right afterwards, though, and it looks like we're going to get a difficult fingerprint with the double agent beating us there. And yes, it is a red test immediately, and that will inform our choices the rest of the game, almost certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. This is why some people like to say that difficult fingerprint first is more spy-like, because you can adjust a bit your game plan based on if you hit it or not. But we're not adjusting. We're just going for fingerprints.
Yep,
Still.
we're going for the briefcase, and it's actually pretty AI-like in the sense that the ambassador was walking closer to us when we picked it up. It's the kind of thing an AI will do because they will decide to pick up the briefcase based on where the ambassador is, puts it down, gets the print. I actually like it. It's less suspicious because it's something a spy would not want to do because it looks too close in the moment you do it. We're going to join our seduction target again, and we're going to hit the flirt. That's a big green. Big green.
That was a really big green. That just to go back a little bit, that being said, the ending of the briefcase there was a little bit wrong. When the ambassador is at that blue bookcase and they're on the pad, you just put that down. You don't do any more movement at all. But we're going to go back into center statues now. We're making a lot of progress here.
And
This
it's
is a
fingerprintable, too.
fingerprintable statue.
Yeah.
Do we, like, just swap, or are we looking for contact?
Yeah, I think we're going to wait and play it safe, especially if we're not dead yet. The BB could be the shot, but you have to credit the bug sometimes too. And by the way, that briefcase was covered up by an entire
Do
conversation.
we
That helps a
bug and
little
just
bit.
dance here? We could just do
I,
that.
I I don't know. It's tempting, and it might not be seen anyway. But look at all these lowlights. We're a highlight amidst lowlights, which makes the bug more visible than usual. Turnipboy decides against it, and it might have been the right choice. There was a viewing angle there, and again, we're the only one glowing in the vicinity. Here comes the BB.
Uh-oh.
The double agent joins us. Two people are out
We gotta dance. I
talking.
think we have to dance.
Pofke is lining it up, shoots between Seek, and there's Green Dress again. And it's a pretty clean Smallman game as far as it goes for Turnipboy, but those fingerprints, I think, just a little too aggressive.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird on Tayen to be going for the soft tell game, especially when Bug is so powerful on Tayen, even if you're not Smallman. Um, it just feels like if you're letting the opponent being able to track everything you do, like if you're Smallman, you want to be getting and you're doing fingerprints, you want to be getting like fingerprints on off of briefcases in the back where they can't see you, right? You want to be using the fact that you are small, and there is value in kind of playing against that and playing up in the front where they can see you, but it's just something I don't think is going to work too often. If the sniper is just going to say, hey, okay, you're finishing, you're Smallman on Tayen, I'm going to shoot you now.
Yep, it certainly is. And again, those fingerprints were not particularly subtle. I think counting on the KS of Tayen maybe to hide some of those prints, but we went for 2 normal prints and a difficult, so that's not going to get missed too often. Pofke is now up 3-2, and they get to spy on Tayen, which might even be an advantage. We're going to play as one of the slowest characters, White Dress, in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, slow does not particularly matter on Tayen. Very, very small venue overall. Not much space in between things. Very, very tight corridors, and just it's why Bug is so good
Yep,
in a
and
sense.
and with that speed, you can do a walking bug around the edge of those conversations very easily, and it basically can't be caught. This is a white test microfilm, and it's at the corner of the screen, but Turnipboy is clearly looking at statue visitors when it happens because that head tilt was very visible. It was actually not covered by Seek because of Turnipboy's angle. A head-on view would be blocked by that cast member, but in this case, Turnipboy had enough of an angle that could have been visible, but it wasn't.
Yeah, the fact that we got the first one done that's not behind the shoji is very, very big. It's very easy to get away with microphone behind the shoji if you have someone else next to you who is covering up your silhouette. Now,
Yep.
it is much harder to get away with it if you don't have anyone there and
Yep.
you just have the silhouette. It's
That's a
it's
green
kind of a
BB.
little bit of a weird thing going on.
That makes perfect sense to me. Green BB, by the way, 2 knocked out. That's pretty standard for Tayen. We'll take it. And the of course, SDAs in one conversation, DA in the other. The question is, if we are going to do that microfilm, what mission are we going to skip? Because we might get credited with bug anyway. You might want to bug. I was going to say play silent, but that's out now. I think now you might want to bug and avoid statues instead and do that microfilm late, because who finishes microfilm last late other than KCM on Tayen? Not too many players. It's not how they like to do it. The Amba is going to go into statues, leave some prints around here. Cooldown expire goes off. Pofke hits the green. That is another 50%. We are done with that. Contact is done. Seduce is done. The hard half of microfilm is done. What's it going to be with almost 2 minutes left?
Yeah, optimally, you really want to be bugging on Tayen at some point in the venue. If you're not bugging on Tayen, you're probably not having a good time. You want something more than that. We do have someone here with us that
Yep.
could cover this up, but we're not critically we're not using their body to cover up our arm when it will flick down as we do this
Here comes the
microfilm.
green. There it
So
is. It's
there it is.
seen. Yep, there it
Yeah.
is. It's once
So
again, it's the same thing as before. Turnipboy has an angle on the left so that they're not looking head on, which makes all the microfilm animations easier to see.
yeah, and that's what I mean by looking through the shoji. It can be very, very easy to see, very, very obvious, especially with that side-on angle. You need to be using the fact that Salmon is there and kind of standing a little bit further back, so his body is lined up with where your arms would extend down during the animation, or else it's going to be very, very obvious. But if you can do that correctly, it's almost impossible to see without actually hovering your laser over the spy while they do it. So a little bit of a missed execution, I think, by Pofke. Turnipboy nicely done on catching it, and we're still even.
3 all heading into library, and Turnipboy's going to be spying here. Great catch. Going to be playing as Leopard. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. And we are going to make a beeline for the seduction target. Stop. You've heard this one. It's the standard opening, especially on library, and that's a green test again. The green tests on these flirts have actually not translated well for the spies. It's been impressive, and it's put them in good position to win. It just hasn't resulted in many actual victories yet. Turnipboy playing it cool. Seduction target walks away. Looks like we're not going to follow them. No, taking our time there. We're not going to squeeze in on that pad. The question is, what are we going to do in the meantime? When you can't flirt and that's what you want to do next, what do you do instead? In this case, Turnipboy's going to grab a green book. Are they going to walk away with it quickly, or are we going to do a normal... No, it's just going to be a fingerprint. I imagine this is going back in green then, and oh, look at this. We're obligated to pick this up now, aren't we? We're going to get 2 fingerprints done. Turnipboy, after forcing those fingerprints a little bit on Tan, is going to do the same thing on library, but might get a better result out of it here, and decides that the ambassador has no room behind them with that bench, and we're going to put this down immediately. And fingerprint the ambassador is done.
Yeah, we do pick up a highlight for it, though.
We do pick up a highlight for it. Yep, Turnipboy's reputation probably precedes them, and even if it didn't, their previous game preceded this one, which is just reason enough to be on those fingerprints. But Turnipboy says, no, I'm just going to do it again anyway, and if they miss either one of them, you're probably good. Also, library, there's just going to be more to track in general, but being that first highlight and being so aggressive about it again can hurt. That is another green flirt, followed by the seduction target, leaving again 2 missions done, and we have a green book in hand. But I think because we were noticed for those fingerprints, Pofke has a pretty good idea of where this book came from. I would not want to dump it anywhere other than green. The question is, does Turnipboy sense that?
Yeah, a good sniper, usually, if you're picking up a fingerprint off of books, you think, okay, I can't really do microfilm, because if they saw me getting this fingerprint, they know exactly where my book is from.
Yep, it's much more likely as a result. They have 2 reasons to look rather than 1.
Precisely. So we will just be putting this back normally. No animations or anything. We are a highlight currently. We're being kind of watched in the middle of this party. We're going to move over to an area that is not currently occupied by either Toby or the ambassador. And we will pick up the statue. We'll see if we can get away with kind of getting these inspects without being seen. But nope. Pofke does make the rotation. Is, diligent in that. And also, we do see Toby and the ambassador coming over, so it's going to be hard to get away with things as we're over here.
I think the plan was to contact the double agent, but they left just as we left statues. That is Cowboy walking the other way, and Turnipboy has no reason to be here. That side statue visit, by the way, might presage an inspect swap at the end of the game. There are 2 minutes left, however. Turnipboy is going to enter this conversation. Yep, we're following Cowboy, and this is a full conversation. This is a pretty good banana bread if we get it out. It's going to be a white test. But we are going to stop talk behind the pillar a little bit after that. We are sticking out from it a fair bit, but I don't think it's seen regardless. 3 missions done, inspect partially done, 90 seconds. This would still be a little early to finish, but not early enough that Pofke won't be watching, especially because it seems like, look at this, only 2 highlights that aren't cast.
I think we're in trouble. There were no lowlights taken for that contact. There were plenty to be had from Pofke, but he did not bother. I think he's extremely suspicious of what Rocker could be doing, and I think we're just going to get shot for this.
Yep, absolutely right. When people don't take obvious lowlights, it's because they have a top suspect in mind, and yeah, don't even need to see the swap. I think Pofke's just thinking that is definitely a spy fingerprinting early in the game, and once you're onto them, you just say, what are they going to do next if they have fingerprinted, right? What's it going to be? They're going to do the BB. They're probably going to try to finish with something like this. So if you are watching Leopard, if you're watching Turnipboy from that point forward, everything they did looked like a spy trying to look inconspicuous. There it is.
And that means that we are going to still kind of be in the sniper party area, or split area. Tayan is different, but I mean Tayan was also sniper party actually.
Yeah, Tayan was sniper party. Weirdly
has it been sniper party in the entire time? No, we had spy wins on Aquarium is the one.
Yep, that was it. Yeah, that was it so far. But yeah, basically still neck and neck. Pofke though has a chance to pull away, and we are running out of games, so a 2-game lead here would be huge. Big game coming up for Pofke as spy, playing Red Butler, Walt Disney, Clark Gable, depending on how old you are, on library in 3, 2, 1, planet.
Oh, Track, you're so old.
I really am. But seriously, guys, watch Gone with the Wind. It's a classic. Pofke going, same seduction target as the previous game. Says, go ahead, walk away. Frankly, I don't give a damn. That's going to be a white test, 33% though. We're going to need to get a little closer next time. You're going to have to give a damn at some point. Question is, what do you do after this first flirt, right? Do you wait around for the timer flirt? That's pretty popular. Normally, you might want to BB here, but you see, it's not a great time. Few too many people out of conversation. So we're probably going to wait a little bit, and maybe we're thinking, I'll do the timer flirt, and by the time that's ready to go, maybe a few more people will be in these circle-shaped thingies here.
Yeah, absolutely. There is just there's always that question, like, what do I do now when you've gotten that first flirt? We do see the ST leave, so we might just go chase this and get on the second flirt done. Yeah, Pofke going for that. Wanting to go for the early flirt, 65%
Yeah,
though?
so notice that Pofke does not enter right next to them, basically saying, I'm going to hit a green test at some point, or it's a micro mistake. It's one of the two. And now you're going to need a green at the end. There's still plenty of time on library, but we have seen better games than this fall apart from something like that. And yeah, we are just forcing the seduction early and often here. 3.5 minutes left. Flirt 2/3 of the way done, but nothing else really lining up so far. The ambassador is walking around touching a fair number of things, but I don't know if Pofke is interested in fingerprint. They might be interested in this list, though. Here is Toby offering a drink and a list with it, and it's going to be a quick reject instead. I wonder if Pofke is just looking for frame targets. The spy's camera is swinging around a lot to look at this party.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that perhaps Pofke is trying to zero in on the fact that maybe he thinks that Turnipboy is someone who likes to misshoot a lot. We will be seeing a quick green flirt to finish it off, very nicely done, and immediately going out into this yellow bookcase. We're not gonna really run away with it though, so we will be seen leaving with that book. I don't know if that book's going to go back normally. We're gonna try to cheese something. Oh, there was a fingerprint on that book.
Yep, fingerprint, and we have the book with us, and we
And the
left
other
so
red.
quick that I think we're trying to get away with it. And the BB, there it is, it's real, but it's probably going to cover for a book dump too. By the way, if they've studied Turnipboy at all, they know that they struggled on Sniper a little bit in Library in Season 5, so they might just be banking on this one. Question is, where's this going to go? It doesn't look like it's going back in yellow, although normally when the BB covers for the book dump, it happens much, much quicker than this.
Yeah. I and honestly, this has just been a lot of very very slow starts for Pofke in these games.
Big moment of
If
truth.
you're Turning Boy, and you see this and you see, okay, they're just starting out with flirt every single game.
Yep.
Do you just start watching early flirts? Do you start low letting people going statues early? There's a lot to be thinking of here.
Most people will
Excuse me.
not change up their style in the middle of a game like that, regardless of how strong the tendency is. By the way, in the interim, while you're mentioning that, dumped in green and not really noticed for it, that is a third mission done,
This
and
is
we still.
fingerprintable.
Yeah, that might have been
So
incidental. I don't think Pofke was going for that because it's going to be hard to finish all these, especially with these white test inspects. We're not going to be able to get it all done. I think they're just here for the inspects anyway, but they might get credited. Turnipboy
oh
zooming in, and it doesn't even matter. Even without the swap, it's a
yeah,
fingerprintable center statue with 80 seconds left.
and there was a slight animation break on the put down, just to put the cherry on the top of that suspicion Sunday, as one
Yeah.
might say. Uh,
Yeah, well, I mean,
and
it's just a
Pofsky
little
goes
too
down.
much, right? The timing, the center statues, the fingerprints, certainly, and then obviously you're staring right at it when the animation break happens. Don't know if we're going to get away with that anyway, though, because it didn't look like a swap was going to be viable. That looked like a pretty solid game. I think the microfilm was pretty clean, but we are still tied. It is 4-4. Turnipboy is the spy. It's going to be Buns there after being the seduction target in the previous two games on Modern. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Those white tests on those inspects, that's what it was. 2 white flirts, 1 green flirt, and we should have saved it for the inspects instead, maybe.
I'm not sure that's how it works, but sure.
I'd like to be able to bank them, frankly, and choose when they happen. Why not?
Uh,
But
that would be an interesting mechanic for sure.
it has
Anyways,
been discussed.
we are going into two venues at the very end of this set. Very even, two venues that are usually you see them and you think, okay, these are going to be split probably by the snipers, right?
Yep.
It's Modern and it's Courtyard. Modern is the highest sniper win rate venue in competitively in the game, just statistically speaking, and Courtyard is just generally speaking, kind of everyone knows it's all about that one hardtail, and it's got the high angle. So even if it's not quite as strongly as rather sniper biased as Modern, it is also one of those venues where you think, okay, this is likely to be a split. So honestly, I would not be surprised at all. In fact, I'd bet on it that we go to extra time.
Yeah, at this point, it's looking increasingly likely that we are going to get those extra matches on a gallery, veranda, and ballroom at least. However, because of that, if someone gets a spy win, they go from a likely tie to a huge favorite to taking this outright, advancing to the semifinals, and reaching the money.
Yeah,
Turnipboy looks like they're banking on not finishing here, by the way. There's 3 minutes left, and they've done literally nothing.
yeah, and that's really interesting against Pofke. Pofke is someone that usually does not miss shot, especially on a venue like Modern. So I think that you'd have to be in this exceptionally strong frame onto some character for that to happen. But we will see if that works out. I just don't see it. I just don't like it that much. Pofke is someone that is very very patient. Is almost always just going to hold their shot if no one's finishing. So we'll see if this works out for Turnipboy, but I'm not
Yep.
liking the
Well,
chances.
on the other hand, Turnipboy has one of the strongest reputations for finishing as Spy. They make very good, steady progress. In fact, we saw to great effect that in, I think it was a tournament of position match, they very famously decided not to finish on Aquarium, and it almost worked, but the sniper had a tremendous hold, and it was shocking as a caster because Turnipboy finishes. That's what they do. And not just raw aggression either, just steady, steady pacing. So every now and then you get that valuable counterplay. The question is this the time to do it, and is this the sniper to do it against? Turnipboy, however, I think has already made that choice. And yep, they are going to try to look like Leopard has delegated to them. It has been bar highlights. Leopard is talking. How well did they time it? Here it comes. It's going to be a little all or nothing, and I don't think Leopard's going to be done either, so they're going to need to probably do something after this. The Purloin is off. We have no way to finish, and we're not going to try, but we are going to get a fingerprint just because we're there. Why not? And let's see. More highlights. Oh boy,
I'm
if lowlights don't start coming out, did they notice the list is gone yet, or are we still getting bar highlights? Taft got highlight for going to bar after the list was gone. Pofke must see it now. Zooms in
yeah,
on Taft.
zoomed in.
I think they're a person late on this.
Yeah, I no, I mean they saw. I think they saw it before the take. You would see the list fade if Taft was the one doing it. So I think Taft might cop a low light in a moment here. Anyways, we do see the Purloin low lights coming out.
Yep,
We
look at
do have
this.
quite a few suspects for a Purloin. Actually, no, we're down. We're down to like 5 people.
Yeah, this is not great at all. But yeah, by person late, I mean not sure when it was gone, did not notice when it was taken. I think was not expecting it at that point. So it is narrowed down, but I don't think Pofke has a great idea of who did it. Maybe tempted to low light Taft, but not sure. And hopefully, for their sake, remembers that Turnipboy was the one before them. But that also shows that if you were trying to frame Leopard specifically, it probably didn't work because they don't notice that Leopard had delegated. There's a fake going off, and that is going to be on Leopard. The frame works. We go all in on it, and it works. Pofke does not notice the list is gone right away, and it costs them a very winnable sniper game.
I'm honestly shocked. That's really huge. It feels like it's so hard to win on Spy if you purloin on Modern and you're not finishing with it. That is such a hard thing to do. And this is a 5 of 8. There's a lot of visibility for the sniper, and Pofke is one of the most patient snipers in the game. That's so surprising to me. But it works. It worked.
Yep. It's not just that the purloin comes off, it's that moment of horror when you realize it's come off and you realize you haven't just caught it. When you don't know how long it's been gone, that will make a patient sniper take a jumpy shot, especially with a real BB afterwards. The fake works beautifully, the delegate works beautifully, and as I mentioned, we went from a very likely split, a very likely extra time match, to now Turnipboy surging into a Hugh lead, especially if they can hold serve here on Modern. Pofke now needs to spy, really badly needing a spy win on Modern as Wheels. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Back
Yeah.
against the wall. This is rough.
We could have gone for a bug there, perhaps. There was actually quite a lot of cover, surprisingly. You usually don't see that much cover on Modern in that specific spot. We could have gone for it, but Wheels bug is not the best, so we don't risk it. We do instead just go out for that first clear.
Yep, and it's 33% again. That's hurt some of us earlier, but plenty of time still. There are a lot of early statue visitors, and Turnipboy again highlighting for statues. We've seen them do that consistently here. They did on Aquarium as well, and on these bigger venues, it tends to work. But slight difference between snipers, even at high levels. One highlights for bar, one highlights for statues. Some wait to see what the party gives them. Pofke's just going to hang around here and probably get another flirt in and really hope it's a green. Nope, we're going to leave early. And we're either going to idle in this conversation or we're going to go right to bar. We're going to roll straight to bar, straight line, A to B. Little spy-like if you ask me, but it is Modern, not too bad. We are sandwiched between Leopard, who is cast this time, and General, who's going to walk away with that drink right by the Ambassador. And more statue visitors coming out. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. 5 highlights already for statue visitors, and you got to imagine some of them are going to go back again. That's going to be a delegated Purloin. Who's going to be on the brunt end of it?
Yeah, and you know how I mentioned earlier that I'd bet that we go to extra time? Suddenly, with that spy win on Modern, the odds of that for me just went way down. I mean, it's still possible. Pofke could still definitely pull this out and go to extra time, or even just outright win it before then. But Wow, Spy One on Modern is really, really big for a Turnipboy.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to put odds on that, certainly. You go from a likely split to a huge, huge favorite with just one bullet. We get a green test there on the second seduction, 84% now, so any final flirt from any distance will do the job. We have not delegated just yet, I think. We might be trying to thread this needle, or we might just let it go. You have the option. If it doesn't line up, so be it. But going back to the bar over and over again is a little spy-like. We are going to delegate to our seduction target. We're going to immediately stop talk, too, during the sip. Looked pretty seamless, but we do leave afterwards. It's a little suspicious if Turnipboy is watching for it. Doesn't seem too interested in Ponytail going to the bar. The timer expires just a few seconds. Even with that fast character, we waited a little too long and we were in the far conversation. And now we're going to go to red bookshelf. We know the purloin has failed. How is that going to change our plans?
Yeah, that is going to be something. We do miss the fingerprint on this bookshelf as well. Unfortunate. This is like the second time for Pofke that we've seen that happen. A potentially invisible fingerprint that's not being tracked, missed off the bookshelf. It happened on library, and that's gonna be really big. And we just don't have that much progress, so it looks like we are going to go here. Maybe add some time to the clock.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to. A little less than 2 minutes left. There are a lot of highlights, though. This is still a decent chance to frame. We are going to green time at almost exactly the same time as Duke, that blonde fellow with the sash, who I guess won second place in a beauty contest or something. And he's going to immediately go to the briefcase afterwards. If this time ad is caught, it actually could work really well because it's down to two people, and one of them has just gone for the briefcase and has already been to statues. If we get a little help from this AI, Pofke could actually even this up. There's the briefcase return. Nope, goes up and sees that the ambassador is at statues. Where are they going to go next? Suddenly, what Blondo does is one of the most important things.
Yeah, that being said, though, ooh, we do actually leave that briefcase a little bit early. The redirect is a little bit awkward. I don't know if that was caught. But that being said, Duke's actions are not as important if the time ad wasn't caught. And it looks like it wasn't. There haven't many low lights. We're just picking up the normal statue highlight. But I just don't know what Pofke is trying to do here.
Oh,
We
and
just
Blondo
don't have
goes
them.
back. This is the rare scenario where you kind of wish they'd had that time ad down to 2 because they'd be very tempted to take this shot with the fingerprint shenanigans, the second inspects. Blondo is acting like a spy, but there's no shot coming off, and I think you're right. The green time ad probably not noticed. In the meantime, Pofke has gotten a couple of inspects in to give themselves a couple of options, and they are back at bar again. The delegate again. We are not going to immediately purloin. We have no one to frame for it yet. Who are we going to delegate to? We are between two people who are not highlit, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, this is going to be something. Do you think Pofke knows who the big frame target here is right now for in Duke
I don't think,
potentially?
yeah, I don't think so because they started the time at around the same time. I don't think it was designed to
Are you
coincide.
sure?
I'm not sure at all. This would be quite a catch from Pofke, though, if he does. Duke was already talking, though, and Duke leaves. Duke leaves. Are we going to delegate? Yep, that's the delegate. So it's kind of the other way around. We're not going to fake being delegated to. We're going to delegate to him. So this is kind of back and forth with the meta here. You're trying to make Duke look like someone trying to frame wheels. Will that work? There's the guest list. Will it work? It does!
Oh my
Another Modern
God!
Spy win!
Two modern spy wins, but not just that. Two modern frame spy wins.
Frame spy wins. Oh my goodness. Basically thinking, giving your opponent respect, thinking, no, they are not doing the delegating. They're trying to look like they're being delegated to. They're not going to do the obvious thing, but the obvious thing becomes the unobvious thing just because it's the obvious thing. That's the Yomi rabbit hole we like to talk about. And somehow we are tied at 5, heading into Courtyard. Wow, what a counterpunch from Pofke. They are still
I
alive.
I'm just I'm like my mind is just blown right now. That's just not a strategy you expect to work. Like maybe if I tried to do that every time I played Modern, I would expect it to work maybe 1 out of 10 or 20 times. We just saw it twice in a row with two different spies and two different snipers. Very well played in selecting these frame targets from
Oh,
both of these players here. That's really, really impressive. And we'll see if one of them can actually break this serve here finally.
it's a
Or
mix of both for Pofke, I think. Pofke, on one hand, there's a lot of credit for knowing that that time ad might be caught and who the other suspect was going to be. On the other hand, Duke there going for that briefcase right afterwards. Oh boy. It's not something you might normally do with a green time ad, but a little bit of help from the AI and a lot of skill on the spy side. Now, we could be headed for a tie after all, but it's Courtyard. Anything could still happen. It's going to be Turnipboy as the spy, white dress. And after 2 spy wins on Modern, I'm not ready to bank on sniper parties the rest of the way. I'm not going to bank on anything. The odds are off the table. Vegas is not taking bets on this anymore. Turnipboy in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Oh god, it's like everything about that last venue on Modern has just amped up the hype of this set to 10, 11. It was already at 10. Now we're at 11.
We played exactly 10 games. This is the 11th. You are correct, sir. Your math is spot on. And of course, it's close. It's the Summer Cup. You can't win it without sweating a little. We're going to go in next to our seduction target, who is Salmon again. And that's going to be another green test. 51%. They are hitting these greens all over.
Yeah, these early green tests on flirts are very, very reassuring. You'd obviously love to see the second green test in every scenario. That hasn't quite appeared in every game so far, but the early green test is just such a just big sigh of relief. You're like, okay, I'm pretty much locked into 3 flirts at worst at this point.
Yeah, it definitely helps, and it's very tempting to go for that timer flirt right afterwards, because if you can 2-flirt, then you can play on the rest of your game so aggressively if you want, and that seems to be the goal here with the green test Turnipboy is hitting. They're thinking, I'll just wait around and hit another, and I'll accumulate suspects in the meantime. There are 2 highlights already. I think both twins have been to statues here as well. Ambassador's moving. Here comes the flirt. It's a white test, 85%. That's going to change things just a little bit, but we're still in pretty good position. And we're going to have to look around a little bit. Seduction target leaves. That will help clarify things just a little. But do we really want to chase them, especially in this dress? Can't really run. The cooldown has expired already. Turnipboy is going to think better of it, I think, and go into statues, get that highlight early out of the way rather than go late.
Yeah, one of the questions I was about to ask is, are we going to go for the same kind of uh, frame shenanigans that we did on Modern? That does not seem to be the case. Turnipboy instead does in fact want to finish, as evidenced by the fact that we have gone into statues. Statues, the bottleneck on Courtyard that everyone must go through essentially to complete missions, just because everything else, all your other options just aren't nearly as strong as inspects are. So everyone's going to do that, and so we pick up the highlight, as is tradition on
Yep.
Courtyard. That is
And
how it goes.
this is a real banana bread, and not a single person other than the ambassador is out of conversation. It covers for a purloin, and Pofke is not positive, maybe, but takes the shot anyway. There was a bit of a double take. I think a green might have worked there. It was a perfect BB, and I think that BB was so good that we actually might have wanted to reconsider the purloin at all. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
All right. Well, that means that Pofke does have a chance to end this before it goes to extra time, but that does, excuse me, mean winning Spy on Courtyard, which is not an easy task, no matter what some other casters may tell you. Pwn noob.
Yep, we're ready
It's
to go.
still going to be difficult, and we'll see if Pofke can do it.
Turnipboy can tie at best. Now they're hoping. After that Modern win, can you believe they were thinking, I might lose 3 in a row and have to play in extra time, but that's the situation we're at. They need to snipe to keep this match going and to give us all collective heart attacks. Going to be playing a Seek here on Courtyard in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Start chugging that Pepto-Bismol. Here we go. And are we going to go flirt first? We're going to walk by the ambassador. We're not going to take that bug, and we are going to try to flirt, but oh, Kane beats us there. Pofke does the AI stop. Pretty convincing, actually. Nice reaction in the moment. Did not force themselves in there, but we're not going to get the flirt, and we're probably not going to get credit for it or get a low light for it.
Yeah, it's just not something that you really want to be low lighting for on Courtyard. It's just not necessary when you're just watching for that one hardtail. Camping is just the strongest strategy. We do see actually one low light for what looks to be pathing, though.
I mean, Turnipboy has been doing this. I believe they low lit Smallman on pub, and it might have won them that game. So, willing to take those risks and maybe bump them back up if they see them at statues. That's a common move. When you have a Crucible like Inspecs on this particular venue that almost everyone goes through, it'll be very common to take speculative lowlights but bump them back up for statues. We are going to get a seduction in here. It's a green for 34% because our seduction target stood across from us. Better for eye contact. I think it should be higher than that, but whatever. That still works. One flirt done, but there's only 2 minutes left, and we have no other progress. And there are just 2 highlights as well. Pofke, still plenty of ways to finish. We're going to walk by this ambassador again, but we're not going to bug. We are going to go into statues around the same time Turnipboy did. Neither of them wants that to happen at the end where it's so much susser, if that's a word. We're going to green the inspect, but it doesn't really matter. And we are going to pick up the highlight. We're going to green our inspects. That's not where you use your greens. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I think Pofke accidentally banked them on library for now. You could do better than that.
You can do better than that. That's not where you would use them, normally speaking, no. Not on Courtyard. That's going to be another flirt. This one's white for the exact same percentage as the green, 68%. So one more close flirt will get it done. Pretty standard for a Courtyard game. Not as standard as having just one mission done with 90 seconds left. But look at all these highlights. Turnipboy has to win this. The pressure is on them. Pofke can afford to throw away a spy game on a gambit if they want and force Turnipboy to maybe hold their shot on all these civs moving around mission sites.
Yeah, but we are still waiting for that hard tell, right? If no hard tell is seen, then either we're waiting for an AI to pick up 2 fingerprints, which is generally speaking unlikely. There are not many fingerprints being placed down. There aren't that many options. There's the briefcase, there's a low possibility of drinks, and then there's the statues. There just aren't that many places you can pick up fingerprints on Courtyard,
Yeah.
so
Your
that's
best bet
unlikely.
Your best bet is tracking the statue visitors and trying to get in a reject chain with them or framing someone for a swap. That's pretty much what you're going to do. That's going to be a fake. It's a green. It's going to let off only one low light, although there are a couple speculative ones there with no SDA alone that might work. It's going to be a reject from the ambassador. So this isn't really covering for anything. It's just kind of throwing some chaff in the air. There's a possible bug opportunity again. No, 30 seconds left. The beeps have started, but no highlights are even rejecting drinks. Pofke has requested one instead. We are not near any other statue visitors that I can see. General comes to us. That is a green purloin, but it is totally on screen. Turnipboy looks like they're all over this. The only highlight near us already has a drink. They can't take it. It's gonna be Walt Disney instead, I think. The green covers for it, but right into the purloin take, trying to distract. Do they see it? Walt walks away. The list is gone. Turnipboy lining up the shot and takes it all over that. We are going into extra time.
Yeah, very smart. Waited for the overtime beeps just to make sure that that was in fact a finish that we were looking at. There was no reason not to. It wasn't like it was like 9 seconds and you might have too late for a sync. Turnipboy very, very smartly
Yep.
playing that and does it well, camps it well, manages to find where the hard tell happens, and we're into extra time. On to gallery.
I think that might have worked just fine if maybe we were able to be in the vicinity of some possible suspects who had purloined, but instead we were all alone with someone who could not theoretically be done, really. So it's extra time. It's a valiant effort. We just weren't standing near the right people to maximize our chances. We did a good job of getting it to overtime in the first place, but it wasn't good enough against Turnipboy, and it's going to continue now. Gallery, 4 of 8. Turnipboy is spy. Oh boy. It goes on. Playing as Teal in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
All right, this is. Whew.
I got to be honest. I've cast with the energy of someone who thought they were only casting 12 games, and I'm worried I'm not going to make it now. I have not saved myself for this, but we're going to see how it goes.
And considering that we have another set that I would
12
say
per
is
match.
probably likely
It could
to go into extra time.
My larynx is an optimist. Turnipboy gets a green flirt, 40% on a gallery. That can help a lot, but the fact that we're farther away from them, not going to work as well. But geez, these green flirts have certainly given the spies a little more agency than they would otherwise.
Yeah, all right. We're gonna take out this green book here. I think we don't have any distraction for it. Not, the ambassador was outside, so that's as much as you're gonna get. I feel like, in that sense. But Toby is still offering people. People are at statue, so there's reason to be looking at the inside right now. In fact, Turnipboy's actually Pofke's kind of ignoring the ambassador outside right now, which is a little bit uncharacteristic of him. Pofke is usually very, very laser focused on that bug.
There have actually been shockingly few bug attempts throughout this entire set when you think about it. Kind of weird. There was that one on Aquarium, which we figured might set the tone, but no. There's going to be another flirt in the meantime, by the way. This is a green close one, so that's going to get us up to 91%. Any flirt will do, and then some. We only need about half of what the worst flirt would accomplish, so that's going to help a lot. We have this green book, and we've had it long enough that since there's no fingerprint on it, we're probably going to dump this in blue. Are we going to clean it outside first, as the custom goes? No, we're just going to try to finish the flirt. No. Nope. Okay. Seduction canceled. Ponytail ruins it. Bit of a risk there. That character was on the pad for a while. If they don't do another action like Sip, you're probably going to miss him, and that's what's happened. Let's see if we go back to blue bookshelves. Big moment coming up. We cannot bug even if the ambassador had not moved. We are going to approach the twin. We are at the blue bookshelf, and Pofke's camera is not moving. That is not a great sign for Turnipboy. Yep, there it is. You can tell. The lack of motion says it all.
Yeah, and by the way, this is just a why microfilm stats are not to be trusted, because the game never told us that the microfilm was happening before the spy got shot for it. So trying to parse that is difficult.
That's an excellent point. Don't I know it? After all this time parsing replays,
Ah,
don't I know
yes.
how unreliable microfilm stats technically are, because it only counts completes. And let's be honest, that was a microfilm attempt, and Pofke was all over it. And the fact that they weren't interested either in that ambassador, I think, speaks to how much they were banking on that. I think they saw that quick take at green rather, and were just really, really expecting it to go to blue, and it did. And Pofke, oh boy, oh boy, they've won so many of these recent games, and now they're going to be spying on Gallery as Leopard in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Pofke has been hot after falling behind there on that Modern game.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a long set. This is a very competitive set. As you know, it wouldn't be this long if it weren't this competitive. But Pofke has been just winning sniper games, and winning sniper games.
Yep, lost that
And
opening one on Aquarium, and not much else since just that Modern game. It's been pretty good.
yeah,
There's a weird little
even
redirect,
yeah,
by the way.
and even in the pinch where he didn't win the sniper game, he won the spy game.
Yep.
So Pofke has been staying alive, but as has Turnipboy. Turnipboy has been in the driver's seat in some of these scenarios, but right now Turnipboy is in the back seat. That is kind of usual if you expect it go to Sniper Party, because Pofke is sniping first on any one of these venues. But it does still feel a little bit bad to not be sure in the fact that you might miss out on that sniper game. So Pofke getting that before Turnipboy is maybe a little bit of a mentality boost there. So we'll
Yep.
see how that affects the series going forward.
Well, so far, literally no progress has been made. There was a flirt attempt on a painting pad early on, but our seduction target Taft left before it could complete, and Pofke seems to have taken that as a sign to just not spy this game. As a matter of fact,
Banana bread.
there's going to be a real banana bread in the back. That's a very full conversation. It's going to let off at least 3 lowlights, 4 total. It looks like that Turnipboy can be confident of, and they are all correct. It's a pretty darn good banana bread,
Toby.
and a purloin happens in the meantime, and I think the distraction might have worked. Turnipboy is taking lowlights. Yep, all the ones outside. Who is this down to? It's down to 2.
Yeah, Toby being a little bit mean to us there, kind of walked out front, just kind of displaying the tray for Turnipboy to see. So there was no way that he could have missed the fact that that list was very, very starkly gone there. So we're
Yep.
now down to 2 guests who could possibly be, and it's either Orange Dress or us. And are we looking like we're flirting with Orange Dress
I
here? That's a little bit
I
strange.
don't know. They both had the same idea. You're figuring, would the spy go to this pad just to idle? Well, yeah, I know they would now because they both did it, and they're my only 2 suspects. Pofke, I just don't think they're going to want to try to finish here. And if I remember right, I think Sari already has a statue visit. So now we're just playing, chicken. We're just saying, hey, go to statues, get shot, please. But will that happen?
We do have drink outside.
Oh, once again, the AI that we are attempting to frame goes for briefcase. It's the 3rd time in the match that this has happened after the big suspicious thing has taken place. That, you'll take it. You'll absolutely take it. The question is, will she do one more thing? Because Turnipboy is not lining up that shot left. There's 1 minute left. Ooh, looked like they were going into statues. Does not. Goes back into this conversation instead. And the prospects are dwindling. Is Pofke going to try to force the action? Or, with that 1-game lead, are they going to be content with just making Turnipboy hold the shot again? Oh, was the ambassador just at the shelf? I think they were. Orange Sari might be completing fingerprints in Turnipboy's mind. Big moment of truth potentially coming up with 39 seconds on the clock. Pofke has done nothing. Sari has done everything. And Sari gets shot. It works. The AI acquiesces.
And we have that is our first break serve of this entire set. Pofke finally sweeping a venue, going up 2-0 on Gallery, and now I think just needs 2 more wins, so splitting the next 2 will end the set in Pofke's favor. Now Turnipboy, to end the set in his own favor before overtime, needs all 4 of the next 4.
It's absolutely crazy. What's really crazy is not that AIs get framed for acting like spies. That happens every game. What's crazy is that they have a frame target, someone who's suspected of something, who continues to act like a spy after, which the spy could not have known. We are not taking double statue visitors or fingerprinters and then necessarily trying to frame them very much. Maybe a little bit on the Modern game, but this is Sari acting like a spy, getting 2 fingerprints post purloin. Absolutely ridiculous. Brutal loss for Turnipboy, and now their back is against the wall instead, and they're on Verandah. They are playing as Kane, and they need a win bad. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. That is brutal. That would tilt the most even-tempered player.
Yeah, that's really, really big for Pofke. Just needs to win out on Sniper. That's all Pofke needs, and Turnipboy, oh boy, oh man, does Turnipboy need a lot right now. Needs to at least win 3 to guarantee overtime on Balcony. But
Yep.
if they don't want to go to Balcony, this is going to be a rough road to travel. They're going to need everything, and Pofke is not likely to give everything away right now. That is so hard to do, especially on a venue like Verandah right now, where it's so hard sometimes to get these spy wins, and that is what Turnipboy is tasked with right here, right now. We're going to go for fingerprints early again.
Yep, Turnipboy says, you know what? I'm just going to go into the Yomi. Would I really do it after getting caught for it twice? Or maybe doesn't realize they've been caught for it. Maybe somehow thinks they've been shot for other things. It can be hard to tell sometimes when you're doing those softails. Turnipboy, by the way, I'm going to say this is probably the game because after this they get to snipe and then Ballroom, which is much swingier, but spies win at about half the time. So this arguably the most important game left for Turnipboy. Our seduction target comes to us. It's another green flirt. This one for 97%. It's not a great number to be at, but the seduction target came to us, and there's 3 minutes left. We have a fingerprint, and the flirt is almost done. We'll take it. It's a very good start, but there's still a long way to go. That's a bug attempt during a collision. Pofke's camera stopped moving, but I can't tell if they were looking at the bug or not. It was pretty darn good. And we go right into statues, and this is starting to feel like a rush.
Yeah, this could be really, really fast if we do this right now. We do pick up a highlight, and that isn't for statues. Pofke does not highlight for well, it might be for statues. You know, I don't know.
Who knows, right? We'll see.
Like,
It's
Pofke
so
does
hard to
not
say.
only highlight for statues, is my meaning here. So
Correct.
it's not just
Yep.
a rote highlight that we get for being there. It is for something else within Pofke's mind. Maybe it's for the bug suspicion. Maybe it's just because we've been really, really active in this party. But something has,
Yes.
gotten us onto Pofke's radar.
Yeah, well, what's also on Pofke's radar is Purloin. They were double zoomed
Banana
in on
bread.
it because 2 highlights were over there rejecting drinks. There goes the banana bread. That's going to knock out one of them, green dress, if caught. And that's actually pretty good. One of the SDAs is a green bookshelves, but there's a very full conversation floor than ours on the far left with 2 highlights in it that does have the SDA. We now have 2 missions done and partial progress on 3 softails with a little under 2 minutes left. There are a lot of ways to finish, especially if Cowboy enters our conversation. They do not, but we need to get that flirt in at some point. Might try to get it here, and then it could be just about anything. What you really want is a fingerprintable statue, and the ambassador is picking up a statue. We can flirt here, and we can inspect fingerprint for the win, and we have 90 seconds to do it. We might want to let it cook.
Look at that spy camera. Turnipboy is trying to see which statue the ambassador's picking up.
Yes, he is.
Just does walk over here to make sure.
Yep, make sure. Stop talks after the flirt. Gets the heck out of there right away. The question is, how long do we let this sit? Pofke has caught the fingerprints twice already. Does Turnipboy know, or are they just counting on they'd never expect me to do it again? We're not going to go for the fingerprintable statue yet. We're letting it cook. There's a minute left. No one else has picked it up. No one else has smudged it. Here comes the walkover. This is it. Is it dead man walking, or are they going to score the needed spy win? We are at the statue. Pofke, it looks like they might be lining it up, but they know they've got time. It's going to be at least 10 or 11 seconds because they have to inspect, and they have to fingerprint, and the countdown. Looking at it.
I think we're watching for swap. We don't know that they're done.
Any second. 5, 4, 3. Thinking about it. Zooms in. Does not take the shot. Starts to rotate. Turnipboy has the toughest win of the 3.
Oh my. And you are absolutely correct. That is the toughest one of the 3. Spy on Verandah is statistically the least likely outcome of any of these next 3 games coming up. There's Sniper on Verandah, which you are more likely to win than Spy. Then there's Ballroom, which is about 50-50 for either role. That Spy win could have just catapulted Turnipboy right back into this series.
Oh, absolutely ridiculous. The spies are just playing out of their minds, and the snipers have actually mostly matched it. That is crazy. The ambassador did exactly what we needed, and we got away with it. Turnipboy, fingerprints again, and the 3rd time is the charm. Now gets to snipe against Pofke on Verandah. Much more comfortable. Pofke playing red dress in 3, 2, 1, playing it. This is already one of the better competitive sets I have ever had the privilege to cast, and it's not over yet. Pofke, a fine player on Verandah. This is not an automatic win for Turnipboy, even on this venue, and you know they've got to be nervous. But the hard part is indeed done. Pofke going to enter with their seduction target right next to them. What do you say, another green test? That's what these spies have been doing. Gonna wait a little bit on this talk. There's the flirt. Oh, it's a white. Oh no, it's all gonna fall apart now. 34%.
That being said, green tests have not always worked out in the past for these players,
That's
so
true.
not
Mixing
that
it up.
bad.
Yeah.
But you really got to be kicking yourself as Pofke right there. You were watching so closely. You were like, oh, this character is so close to being done probably that I'm just
Hmm.
gonna watch this swap down, and then the game ends, and you're just like, oh no, they got something by me. What have I just done, right? Because
Yeah.
that was your best chance to lock down at
Yep.
least getting to balcony. But
Yep.
now that inkling of worry could be creeping into Pofke's mind. But Pofke still has 3 opportunities here, is still in the driver's seat despite that spy win from Turnipboy. Don't I mean, the momentum might have shifted just a little bit, but Pofke is still advantaged here.
Yeah, Pofke zoomed in twice on the spy as they completed their missions. Twice. And you know that Turnip Boy's heart skipped a beat both times. I would probably have that looked at after this match if you have a chance, if you survive it. Pofke, meanwhile, is going to do the banana bread here. It's a very
Banana
okay
bread.
one. A couple people move just as it happens. It is a white test too, and we are going to get, oh, let's see, 4 lowlights total now. That's not bad, but there was a lot of movement late, and it looks like, yeah, one of the SDAs was at blue shelves, I believe. So only a handful of people could have a reel here. Question is, does Turnip Boy know that, or were they just taking the safe play and getting those lowlights?
Yeah, it was very actually quite a good BB. The only bad thing, as you said, was the SDA being at the blue bookshelf instead of in a conversation somewhere. But that's really something you can't expect. That is a contact you're probably going to take every single time on Verandah if you can. It is just very high value. There's not much cost to it,
Yep.
so
Pofke, blue bookshelves right after that cast member, and is going to get a fingerprint from it and put the book back. That's the only reason we were there. And we are going to squeeze in very shallowly into this conversation to make sure we're close to our seduction target, hoping that we can get 32% while standing across in the tiny thing here. That's going to be a bug attempt as the ambassador walks by. I'm not sure if it was visible, but it definitely did not take. Turnip Boy was zoomed in the whole time, but there's just such a pile of humanity there. Can you actually see, or did your arm disappear into another character model? It's not clear. Either way, the bug did not take. We do not have much mission progress left. 90 seconds. Flirt, 2/3 done. Contact done. Fingerprint half done. There's the flirt. No, we are not close enough to get it with a white, even though we are right in their face. 98%, and now it was already going to be tough to finish. Pofke's got to start thinking about alternatives.
yeah, for sure. That contact was very, very good. Not many lowlights, but still, you have to be, using the fact that there's not many lowlights and using the fact that there are a bunch of other suspects to be getting missions done. So instead of that, oh, we're getting zoomed in on it a little bit there. That
I
was
think it might have been the
interesting.
list. The list was rightfully in the same area, and there's going to be a green time ad there. And Queen checks her watch at Windows just afterwards. That might be our saving grace because it's going to be hard to finish. But it looks like Pofke might actually try. We're going to get marked suspicious for the statue visit, and we are going to do these 2 inspects. But even with the time ad, we've only got a little over 80 seconds left. It's almost certainly going to be seduce, inspect swap, or something. Ambassador is going to have to leave a fingerprint. Will they put this red book back? I
Oh, it
don't
looks like
know
we're
if
trying to
they
frame
do.
General here.
We're trying to frame General. And there's the swap, but it's totally on screen. Turnip Boy sees the fade perfectly, is all over it. A lot of credit to Turnip Boy for watching someone who was not that suspicious most of the game very closely late. Maybe suspected that bug more than we thought.
Yeah, and that means that whatever happened on Gallery just got completely erased by some extremely powerful play from Turnip Boy, and we are back to even again track.
Back to even again. It is 8 all heading into Ballroom, which is, I will remind you, competitively, the most evenly split SpyParty map. Spies win almost exactly half the time, and that's not just cumulative. That's almost every season they win almost about half the time. It's ridiculously consistent. It's just the fairest venue to play if you needed one game, not knowing what role you were going to play. Turnip Boy has survived. Pofke came back themselves earlier. Punch, counterpunch, the heavyweight fight is probably about to come to an end. Hopefully, I don't know how much time you have, but you might need a little extra unless one of these players can take both of these ballroom games. Turnip Boy is spying first as general in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, that being said, one player taking both of these is not out of the question. Like on Modern, even though we did see 2 spy wins, it's the expectation that snipers split that venue. But on Ballroom, there are no rules. 51% spy, 49% sniper. it's just the best player wins at this point.
It absolutely is, and it's 51% flirt, too, for that matter. Stop me if you heard this one. It's another green test, and we're going to go into statues early. Turnipboy, maybe thinking about banking on another green. We're going to go right to center statues, maybe put the pressure on Pofke, because nobody wants a civ shot at this point. You can use the sniper's nervousness. You can use the circumstances against them, potentially, by forcing them into an early, difficult shot. It feels so bad to shoot a civ early in the game for something like a potential rush, but it can really put the pressure on. The inspects are done. The flirt's half done. Let's see if we go into the next of the seduction target. Toby's right there, too. We could just go bang, bang, bang right here, rush over to the real double agent right afterwards. They are in a conversation with Red Dress, but I think it's going to depend on this green flirt. That might determine whether or not we rush. Ambassador walks by. Turnipboy thinks better of it, does not take the bug opportunity. Normally, if you want to bug with General, it's going to be walking and not stationary. That is a white test on the flirt, and that might change things. We're at 85%.
Yeah, just not hitting that many of like the 2 green flirts in this set. We've seen a lot of green flirts, just not that many 2 greens.
Nope.
And that trend continues here with Turnipboy with the first green, the second white. We do go for the bug.
There's the bug. Ambassador goes by, and Pofke was zooming in at about the same time it happened. When there is a zoom, a sniper, even if they are looking for it, can miss the bug during the zoom. The eyes have to readjust. I don't care how good you are. There's a little flicker there. There's a moment where it can get by. That might have been timed perfectly from Turnipboy's point of view, or horribly from Pofke's. The match could swing on the exact microsecond timing of that zoom. Camera control, so boring, so important, so underrated. The bug is done. There's the seduce after the timer flirt. There's 80 seconds left, and we are a banana bread away from taking this spy win and putting ourselves in a dominating position. The double agent is walking around, redirects. They are alone in a conversation. Will Turnipboy do this? I think they're gonna. There's a statue visitor we're gonna knock out, but I don't know if they can resist. They think they got away with that bug.
Yeah, I think we've got to wait for that statue visitor or just more people to be in or with you in this conversation.
Statue visitor comes in with
us.
Can you possibly not do this? You have to do it. White test. It's a white test. How's Pofke going to react? Thinking about the shot. Shoot Sari instead! It works! That is possibly the difference, but if Sari got shot, I think that bug was clean. That was a win for Turnipboy. Let's take a look at that replay if we can, just briefly. I can't wait to get in the next game and see if and how this ends, but look at the timing on this zoom with the bug. That is the match. Zooms in as it happens, a half second late. Sees the Ambassador's vulnerability, just a little too late to zoom and guard against it. And the corpulent Taft with an assist, too, blocking the arm.
All right. And that means that Turnipboy is 3 out of 4. I mentioned earlier he needs all 4 to lock this set out right here, right now. 3 in a row has been achieved. We need 1 more from Turnipboy or a turnaround this momentum by Pofke to go into balcony. Whew.
There have been so many momentum shifts that it's enough to make you think, is momentum actually a thing, actually? If it can change that easily, I don't know. I think in the hands of players this good, it's just all about the next game. And the next game is right now. Is it also the last game? Pofke as green dress. Hey, green dress again. Factored heavily into the beginning of the match. Will they factor heavily into the end? On Ballroom. In 3, 2, 1... playing it. Turnipboy with a sniper victory will head into the semifinals and into the money. Pofke needs to spy just to force infinite balcony sudden death. That's not the position you want to be in, but this is the kind of venue you want to be doing it on. We are going to go next to our seduction target. Not as close as we'd like, but close enough. The green test is going to get us to 44%.
Yeah, 44% is not quite the 51% we've been looking at recently, but that is that's still a green test. That is still a green test. You're always going to take it over that 34%. That's the best you can get on a white flirt. So, we'll see how this goes from here. That those green tests have just been so prevalent in these early games. Can Pofke continue with those green tests and make his plays that much stronger?
Well, Pofke is going to wait here and try to hit another one, which means committed to the, obviously committed to the 3 flirt regardless, but just going to try to hope for another one. Keep it close. It's going to be a close whites are going to do it regardless of what you hit on this next one. Ambassador walks by, but not close enough for the bug, and probably not a great idea anyway. But look at these highlights starting to accumulate. Little nerve-wracking for Turnipboy. You don't want this to slip away. That's going to be another green test. And look at the floating point averages. We get 45 for this one. Ooh, doesn't really matter. 89%. Any flirt's still going to do. The double agent is with us, but this is not a great time to do it, especially with a highlight out of conversation. Not that the spy can see it, but they can probably infer. What's it going to be? When are we going to do this? You would love to get a couple more people in here so you can finish this off. No, seduction target leaves. So does another highlight. And now, and another highlight after that. So our double agent plans have fallen apart completely. 2
Yeah,
minutes
not
left.
really the best time for a contact right now, unfortunately. And now, because of that, we're just sitting here with pretty much no progress. Maybe banking on the fact that Turnipboy is likely to be nervous this late into the set. Sniping for the win is such a huge nerve wracker. You're trying, you're looking, you're trying to figure it out because you know in the back of your head if you can do it, you've won. But that also means that you might be a little bit more jittery than you normally are. Your play might be a little bit different. So maybe Pofke is just trying to use this time that he's waiting around to stress Turnip Boy out.
Finishes the flirt. That banana bread's definitely going to stress them out. Here come a few lowlights. It's a pretty good one, though, all things considered. And we have 2 missions done with a minute left. Still plenty of ways to finish, but we can't do it at our own pace anymore. We're going to have to force the action a little bit or hope someone gets shot. And after those early highlights, no more highlights have come off, so the suspect pool is still pretty narrowed down. One of those highlights takes a drink, though, and you can see Turnip Boy zooming in, very nervous that someone could be about to finish. I think that's probably still... Oh, boy, was that a little twitch onto that pad? I thought I saw a little idle reset. I don't think it was noticed by Turnip Boy, though, but we are between two highlights. If we can get a reject chain going with them, that might work. Here it goes. It's a pearl and it's a white. It's a white. Turnip Boy staring at it. Does he see it? It's a tough viewing angle. There's the shot. Turnip Boy wins. Amazing. What a comeback.
Oh my god. I thought for sure it was almost certainly over when we saw Pofke go up on gallery, but Turnip Boy turns on the clutch and just wins 4 in a row to end the set.
You don't go on autopilot. You drive manual. You go into the clutch. And Turnip Boy, hell of a sniper, hell of a driver. Absolutely earned this. When I saw this matchup, I thought, if I were a betting man, this is what a betting man would call a stay away. This is don't bet either way because you don't know what's going to happen. I sure didn't. I wouldn't have bet on it, and now I'm glad I didn't. I feel very justified in my skepticism because this was one of the closest, most intense competitive matches we have cast. Congratulations to Turnip Boy. Hats off to Pofke. What a set. Believe it or not, we're going to need a little break after that for any number of reasons. It's just going to be about 5 minutes, and then we're going to come back with a set that I don't think can possibly follow it despite the competitors involved. It's going to be Dowsy Crazy Kaylee in just a moment. Please bear with us. We'll be back in 5.